on board. Lance Bird and his wife, they own Rocker Bee in Grayford County. It's a ranch with baseball fields. It's a wedding venue. I mean, it's snazzy smazzy. You can get a room there for $5,000 a night, and it's in Grayford County. But they do several baseball fields. I mean, Google it, Rocker Bee. But I saw him yesterday. In fact, I saw him in Brooks' office, or with Kyle, and I asked him if he could be a corporate sponsor and get us 50 bikes for our kids. He's always participated, not that much, and he said, sure. So that's another 50 to the already stack of stuff we've got. So today we're going to order 300 more from Academy, which will put our order at 650 bikes from Academy. And we're doing business over on Cherry Lane with it. I believe the manager's name is Kevin. I'm going to do a live video with him Saturday at 2:30, because we really want to thank them for working with us. They're building these 650 bikes. So we've got, counting today, we got 30 days till December 1. December 1, we need to pretty much have our inventory in-house or close to in-house. So, but you'll see that photo I posted of Lance Bird with Rocker Bee. The photos with his wife. Lance actually coordinated the movement of the inventory last year. Kyle normally does that with the All Saints baseball team. Lance stood in for him because Kyle's old high school was in the playoffs for the state championship. Kyle's from a little community outside of Houston and down around that area. So Kyle's old high school's kids were playing over at Jerry's World for the state tournament. So Lance stepped in and coordinated the moving of all of the inventories for last year out of here, where we had them stored, and we had 700 and something last year. So, but I can assure you we're going to get it 1,000 or better. I think we're going to hit 1,200 no problem, because we've got 650 and we're sitting on 40,000 cash or in the bank. Monty's in, Joe's in, so that's 650. You got Fort Worth Fire Department, cops, kids, police, cops for kids, the Fort Worth FD, Fort Worth PD. Those are 50 each, so that's 750. We've got some of our restaurant people that help us every year. They're good for 50, so that's 800. We got the International Aerospace and Machinists Union out at Lockheed. They're always good for over 100. We'll just count them at 100. Where was I at? 800. That's 900. Quincy always comes in with 75 or so. So we'll count him at 50. 950. 1050, 1150. 250 more is what I need out of people that are listening to me right now, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube, whatever. We're on 8 or 9 platforms now. But we need helmets and we need toys. So things are coming together real good, though. The kids are having a good year this year. Again, I wanted these corporate sponsors, Pat and Richard Carr, Sid Richardson Foundation, Jeff Schusler with Sight Barricades, Tim Love, the chef, Kyle Polson. Ricky Stewart owns all the Chicken Expresses. Jared Shope owns Climate Ski Shop out at Clear Fork. Matt Johnson, Holiday Chevrolet. Matt owns 4 or 5 new car stores. Plus he owns the pickleball court. Robbie Baker, RLB. I've known Robbie I was doing cars for Robbie when he was at TCU. That's how far back Robbie and I go. And like I just welcomed in Lance Bird, he and his wife just stepped up for 50. So, but we want to thank Academy out on Cherry Lane. Please do business with those folks, because they've done business with us now this is the 4th year we bought from Academy on a large scale. I doubt seriously if they've got anybody that buys any more bikes from them than we do, because today we'll place another 300. That'll be 650 this year. Mattel out on Meacham Boulevard. They've got toys 50% off, and if you're military, 60% off. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, so they're open today, they're open tomorrow. Make those dollars stretch out. Ollie's out there in that shopping center that I used to call it Tandy Town, out on the west side, across from West Side Cafe, because at one time every one of those businesses were a Tandy-owned company. That's when he owned Color Tile and the Leather Deal and all the other. There's Lloyd Ortega. I hadn't seen you in 100 years. But we desperately need your donations. We need you to buy bikes, toys, or helmets. The event is December 14th. I got confirmation yesterday. Every year, even though I inked a long-term contract with Fort Worth ISD, we have to go through the process of being approved, and especially this year because the superintendent stepped down and they have an interim superintendent. But immediately they responded and said, y'all are approved, we'll send you the contract. I should get it today. December 14th, Farrington Field, by the Billingsley Field House. The gates will open sometime between 6:30 and 7 a.m. The line will form on Friday the night before about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Last year the line never broke. We never had a stopping point where the volunteers could take a little break and catch their breath. It was non-stop cars, 2 lines. And we finished last year at about 11:15. This year we're going to give away 500 or 600 more bikes, so we'll be there at 1 or 2 o'clock. What else? On the YouTube side, I'm going to go over our list of sponsors. If I can find it. Dub Peacock, A-Bird, AC, and Heating. And I keep trying to tell people, one of my own children called me yesterday and said, but he doesn't live here, said my heat and air units acting up. You need to get them checked. Call Dub Peacock at A-Bird, AC, and Heating. Burt Ladner Realtors. Wes Williams is connected to that group. I know a bunch of those people. They're great real estate people. You're buying, selling, renting, whatever, they can handle it. Steve Coburn with Coburn's Catering. There's Pat and Richard Carr with Dickey Carr Sand and Gravel. Express Dent, Dick Regester, and Eric is the operating partner. Fort Worth High Tech Signs, Jeff Jones. Fort Worth Lumber, I need to send her a message. Cross Electric, if you need a electrician, Cross Electric can step up and take care of you. David Hart is our painting contractor. They do a tremendous job. Jenny Stewart has State Farm Insurance. See, I misspoke. K Ranch Roofing. Jorge is the owner and Bree is the office manager. Here's a Rex Benson owned company, Old South Pancake House. We've all eaten there from time to time for many years. Onassis Masonry, Optimus Club of Fort Worth. They donate. They'll be bringing us a tree probably the day after Christmas or that following Monday. Passport Getaways. If you're planning a trip or you need to plan a trip, let them do the legwork for you. Qualified Tree Care. I'm getting all kinds of messages here. Highway 75 is shut down. I don't even know where Highway 75 is. Charlie Guerin Railhead Barbecue. Rex Benson's new sports bar, Rex's Bar and Grill. It's opening in a matter of days. It's right there in the same parking lot with Old South. It used to be Macaroni Grill. We'll be hanging out over there a bunch. Schwartz and Hanson Architects. Techstar Pools. I need to get a hold of them, see if they want to come in tomorrow morning and do a live interview. Okay, next in line is Winstead Paint and Body. Let me see what's next after that. We've got, hold on, I'm scrolling down. We've got so many things that, where's Casey Crawl? Casey Crawl is our Medicare. There he is. Local agents, local care. He's explained to me several different times about all of the changes coming up with Medicare. And you know you've only got a time limit on it. You got to get it done. So call Casey and they'll meet you at your place, their place, wherever. Hell, if you call him and meet him, you probably get him to buy you breakfast or lunch. Okay, y'all, I can't do all of this at once. The score is up between the Falcons and the Cowboys. You have to go to www.fortworthmemories.com. We've got I believe he said we've got a new picture of the Silver Sisters. There they are. Now I don't know, that's the picture that I had. I don't know if that's a current one, but that's the picture of the Silver Sisters in my studio here. Debbie is in, Tom is in. You really want a unique gift at Christmas, message old Tom Reynolds. He makes these fabulous pens. One of my new grandsons just said, "Love you, Papa." He's the newest grandkid. Somebody else typed that for him because I'm sure his mother did. He can't type it. It's not old enough, unless they're starting them that old. Okay, Scott, let me see if he's... there's Scott Sumner's IT and website design consultation on... So we need to save that. And that I don't know how to do. I'll get Scott just took down for a little sleep. He's got the night shift and I've got the early morning shift. There's our flyer for the bike drive, Larry's Kids Annual Bike Drive. Again, I want to thank all of y'all that have helped so far and spread the word, and all of our corporate sponsors, the Sid Richardson Foundation, Kyle Polson. I couldn't do it without him. It's just, he will be the guy that when I either retire, or which I'm never going to retire, or I'm no longer on the planet, Kyle will be our go-to guy. Okay, so at 8, I'm going to do our pilot series for Gangsters in Cowtown, only on YouTube. So you need to subscribe and join it. Doesn't cost you anything or anything. And it's just an introductory. I'm not going to get into the individual gangsters that roamed up and down Jacksboro Highway and the downtown era. You know, really, even in the 1800s with Hell's Half Acre, we had all the highwaymen here, the stagecoach robbers. They were all here. So when Camp Bowie came around, you could not have a establishment that sold alcohol or ladies of the night within a 1 to 5 mile radius of the military installation. No, you just have to go to, I thought you were already on the YouTube channel. I don't know. Scott's asleep, so I can't, he's not on the phone. So then it kind of opened up on the highway. But you know, times were different. Our gangsters here, they didn't kill innocents. It was very rare. In fact, I can't think of a time that an innocent, somebody that was not also in that lifestyle. Juanita Harris, she got blown up with her husband Nelson Harris, the day before Thanksgiving, 1950. So I guess she was married to a gangster. So, and their unborn child, they got blown up right over here on Wingate. Right, runs parallel to University. Okay, so tomorrow we're eating at McAllister's out on 6333 Camp Bowie. Next Saturday, the 9th, we're going to be at Clown Burger over in Haltom City. They need some help, and that's what we do. There's a link up if you'd like to kind of call in and talk to us about your business. If you got a restaurant or something, it's got to be in Tarrant County, and you just have to set it up with me. You don't have to come into the studio. We can do an interview like I do Dr. B and several other people. We can just do it over the phone, and our members can hear you. So Enchiladas Olay is, we're going to try to see if we can't get some business going their direction. They've got one on Forest Park and one, I guess it's on Camp Bowie. They used to have one over on Sylvania. I ate at that one, but she's since moved to Forest Park and Camp Bowie. What else? The kids have had a good week. We've raised about $13,700 for them this week. Rain is coming in. Carrie is in. And I want to touch on something, and it really doesn't bother me. People attack me all the time. Just because my political beliefs and yours are not the same, we can still be friends. But if you come on any of my groups, my platforms that I have control over, and start being nasty, you're going to get removed. So I'm conservative. If you're liberal, that's fine. I am not a conservative or a person that believes that only the party that I follow has the only ideas. That's not right. I've often said Bill Clinton, in his presidency, they probably got more accomplished in my lifetime than any president. Lyndon Johnson was also a Democrat. He got a lot accomplished because he got the dirt. He had the head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, as soon as Lyndon took office after President Kennedy was assassinated. He called J. Edgar in his office and he said, "Whatever you're working on, you can stop." And Hoover says, "Well, what are we supposed to do?" He said, "I want the dirt on all the Congress people." And so then he would call him up and say, "Hey, Larry, you going to vote with me on my bill? This is so-and-so and so-and-so." "Well, I don't know." "Good, your wife's going to find out where you go every other Wednesday." You know, something to that effect. But Bill Clinton, with a Democratic Senate, Republican House, Newt Gingrich, who I've interviewed 2 times, they got a lot of stuff done. Clinton came more to the center, and the House came more to a liberal type stance. But they got a lot of stuff done. They got a 10-year ban on assault rifles done. They had they balanced the budget. Hell, we don't even get a budget anymore, do we? We get one, but my own opinion, the government has no intentions of paying off anybody. But, so, just for your information, if you want to, things are going to ramp up as we get closer. If you want to come on these groups and act nasty, that's the quickest way you'll be out of here. Okay, let's see the election countdown. Come on, countdown. Why didn't it work for me? Okay, it's 4 days, 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 16 seconds. There's Aaron James. Why haven't we heard from our questionnaire lady? Speak of the devil. One of her grandchildren is sick. She's going to be out of pocket today. Okay, no problem. What do we have? Where are we at on her, Brittany? I forget. Brittany always helps me out so much. I can't remember. She didn't give us. They brought 21 bikes. Do you have your record of it? Because they were short. She couldn't get the helmets because they didn't have any. Well, they did, $20 a piece. She said she couldn't afford that. I think she had one bike over 21 bikes, 10 helmets and 16 toys. Okay, so we'll continue her on till Monday. Monday's probably going to get hectic. Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday, I'll be doing the morning show from City Hall, Azle City Hall. I'll be there at 5 in the morning. Talk to the people. Okay, what else have I forgot to talk about? We need to say a prayer for basically everybody on the planet. Brittany's had procedures come up. Oh, okay. Okay, good. Remind me of that Monday. Please, ma'am. Other views of the museum. I'm going to move these cameras around tomorrow. I did it haphazardly. There's the front wall. with the door and pictures on the wall. And that is the entryway to the other side of the museum where the 62 Impala is, and all the sports memorabilia, the yearbooks, all kinds of displays over there. How much what? I spent over $4 million. I spent $4,400,000 in 44 years. 93,000 pieces. Okay, so the Dodgers won. Bobby Patton, a friend of ours, great guy, Fort Worth guy, part owner of the Dodgers. McAllister's on Saturday, tomorrow at 1. And I'll have to get out. We normally talk for a couple of hours. I've got a live interview with the manager of Academy on Cherry Lane. I want to give them plenty of recognition. They're working with us and they're building all of those bikes. 650 bikes, that takes a while to get them built. We've got rain coming in for 3 or 4 days in a row. What else? Does anybody have anything they want to talk about? I'm going to go off here in a minute and then I'll be back on YouTube only at 8 a.m. I can share the link to join that, or so I'll do Gangsters in Cowtown for several weeks, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. and I'll try to come back at noon and do a mirror repeat, or as close to it as I can. Let's see. Scott posted the link yesterday. There's Landsberg and his wife. I'll be sure and go on there and thank them. I mean, 50 bikes is $3,725. So it's not a little deal. Grilled chicken salad at McAllister. I've never eaten at one. Scott says it's like a Jason's Deli or something. I don't like chicken salad. I like tuna. Do they have tuna? That Jason's had a warm tuna sandwich. So I'm sure that McAllister's probably will too. So we need to be eating at Clown Burger too. They need help, and that's what we do. So if you're in the Haltom City area and you want a good burger, Clown Burger. I knew Mr. Lothan. That little car wash next to the one on Belknap was the first car wash I ever owned. Boy, I didn't make much money there. That was back when I worked for Scott Sherman at Scotty's. I think I made 95 cents an hour or $1 and a nickel or something. Guess the Score is up and running on memories.com, FortWorthMemories.com. We didn't have a single door knock from Halloween. Which, I mean, we never do. Country folks do a little different. I can't find that link, but I will. What is the story behind the Can't Sleep Club? Well, I'll be happy to tell you. So when I first started Memories, well, all restaurants are hurting a little bit, Brittany. I just think they just need a little boost. Okay, so when I first started Memories in on Facebook, I started it in early 2014. We're in our 11th year. But I had it on MySpace for 6 years. So 20 years really. But on Facebook, we didn't have many members. We had, in fact, when I started it on Facebook, I added 74 of my friends and myself. So the nucleus was 75 people, and I still have 4 of those people that are active. And so everybody said, well, it's, my sleeping routine is terrible. I sleep for about 40 minutes and get up. I sleep actually about 2.5 hours over 24 hours, and it's in spurts. So some of the people that were on there said, well, I guess we'll see you tomorrow or something. And I said, well, hey, we need to keep this thing rolling. Let's start a little group. And so there was 3 of us. I'm the only one left living. Janie was in, and Betty was in, Betty Dalton Burks, and myself, and there's Terry, and we just started, we'd talk about anything on the phone, or on the internet. We'd say, hey, I'm sleepy, or we talked about ice cream or hot dogs or whatever. And so more and more people started coming on there, and it's kind of so we build it as, if you're tired of watching reruns on television, you can interact with people on Memories on the Can't Sleep Club. And so it's been going the same amount of time. I started it in 2014. And like I said, there was 3 of us. And now there's me. Janie and Betty are both deceased, and we miss them both. It always amazed me about Betty. Her husband, who's deceased also, but her husband was a firefighter here in Fort Worth, or Benbrook, I think. But back in the day, in '63, when Kennedy was assassinated, he worked for either the Dallas Morning News or the Dallas Times-Herald. He was the photographer guy. He took the photo of Jack Ruby shooting Lee Harvey in the basement of the Dallas Police Department parking garage. And she was a member of the largest history group in Fort Worth or Dallas, and I never knew that story. I mean, I'm sure she didn't have the actual photo. I'm sure the Dallas, it's either the Times-Herald or the Morning News owns the rights to that photo, but her husband was the photographer, and she never told me that. I've often wondered why she didn't tell me that. I mean, not it's a big deal, but that's one of the most iconic photos ever taken. Just like the Fort Worth Five. People say, what's the Fort Worth Five? That's Butch Cassidy and Sundance and Etta Place and that group. That's a pretty iconic photo. They wish they hadn't have taken it because it got them caught. There was, I believe, a Pinkerton agent that was walking around Hell's Half Acre, and the Schwartz brothers, there was 3 of them, and they were all photographers, and they all had separate offices. And the photo was so good that Mr. Schwartz said, hey, I'm going to put this in the window, display window. And one Saturday afternoon, Pinkerton walked past, and the only known photo of any of those guys was Cassidy, which wasn't his name. He had a prison photo, and this guy had memorized it in his mind, And when he walked by, of course, in that photo, they all had derby hats on. And he said, that kind of looks like Butch Cassidy. And so he went inside and had the guy take the photo out of the window, and he got to looking at it, and he said, oh yeah, this is them. And so they were in Fort Worth and had that photo made at Hell's Half Acre. Well, Brittany, when did it officially stop? It officially stopped in 1917, but really in the late 1800s, 1890s, it started phasing out about 1880s, but then it'd come back. It was a source of income when we first got started. The sheriff would fine the prostitutes just like a doing business tax. And on any given Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night in a 12 or 15 block area, there was 1,000 to 1,100 ladies of the night. So the only source of income in the cattle drive days was the fines they got off the prostitutes and the cattle drives coming through. That's what kept our town alive. Every time we would have a new mayor, he'd say, I'm going to shut down Hell's Half Acre, we're going to start having a curfew, yada, yada, yada. In about a day or two, he'd figure out, if I want to get my check this next month, that's our source of income. And so, depending on how much money it took, Longhart, Jim Cartwright, or whoever the sheriff was, or the town marshal, would meet with the mayor and say, how much money we need now? And they'd say X number of dollars, and they'd just start. Some of those ladies didn't have any money, but all of the madams did, and the higher class prostitutes had money. The ones that worked out of the hotels, they call them the Vegas girls. I don't know why they call them the Vegas girls. But the ones that are down on the street, they called them crib girls. They were just in little shanties, holes for windows but no glass. Very rarely, no electricity in them. And they charged 25 cents a visit. So, but when Camp Bowie, the military installation was built in 17, it completely closed it down, because that was a law, federal law. You couldn't have a house of ill repute or saloon or any of that within some places a mile and some places 5 miles of that military installation. So that kind of put a hamper. Plus, in the early 1900s, the reformist movement and the women's suffrage movement was in full swing, and that helped do it. But in reality, J. Frank Norris, the First Baptist preacher, shut down the prostitution. He had gone to the mayors and city council and said, hey, we got to stop all of this. And they said, yeah, we'll think about it. So on that next Sunday, at the end of his sermon, he said, I need 50 of you ladies down here on Friday evening about 7 o'clock, because First Baptist was downtown. And so they walked several blocks to the red light district, and they would go in and they would watch a citizen go in, and they'd say, Larry O'Neill, this is a house of ill repute. You don't need to be here. Well, I'm going in anyway. Good. Your wife will find out where you've been. So that kind of shut it down overnight. But then it popped its head back up. So you're always going to have, when people say you can't have something like alcohol or marijuana or any of that, people are going to sell it. Okay, so we need to have a big weekend for Larry's kids. So go shopping. Go out there to Mattel or Ollie's, or order online. You don't even have to leave your office or your house. Make a donation. You can do all of that on larryskids.com. Hold on. Do what? No, just straighten up that area and then y'all shut it down and go to the Chevy store. They've got 3 or 4 bike readies. We're not going to do anything out of here today. Checks are over there. Thanks. Okay. Don't forget the museum needs donations. We desperately need donations. We don't ever get any donations. Very rarely. I've footed it all of these years, and it ain't cheap. The rent's $5 grand a month. And detail business isn't what it used to be. Okay. What kind of box do I need? How did that message get to me? Is it on messages? No. So if you're watching, I believe it was from Terry. 20-inch box or littler box, whatever. I don't see how this guy messaged me. Maybe it's on Business Suite. I don't even see how you get messages in there. Why am I blocked? Probably screwed up. Okay, so whoever asked me what kind of box we need, little box, big box, 20-inch box, because I cannot find you. On here. So ask me again or something. I thought it was under Classic Auto Detail. Gene is in. Okay, I'm going to sign off, try to find out. Join YouTube, Fort Worth Memories.